everyone, it's Gracie with Burlap and Blossom Patterns. It is almost Valentine's Day, so I thought this would be a great opportunity to go ahead and stitch along with you all as we make a candy hearts quilt block pattern together. These remind me so much of those little candy hearts that we used to exchange with our friends when we were kids, and I just think they're so super cute. So I designed this free pattern for you all. I will leave a link down below in the description where you can find the free pattern. And as always with all of my patterns, the instructions include measurements and written instructions, as well as colored graphics for 6-inch and 12-inch finished quilt blocks. If you haven't already, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below as well. You'll also notice there's a little bell icon where if you click that, you'll be notified as soon as I post new videos, and you'll be one of the first to be able to access any new patterns or tutorials that I post. Be sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this today. Also, feel free to leave a comment down below with any suggestions that you have on any quilt block patterns that I should design in the future. So without further ado, let's get sewing. So today I'm going to be sewing the 12-inch Candy Hearts block pattern with you all, and here's what you'll need to complete the 12-inch pattern. Again, if you want the 6-inch version, be sure to click the link down below in the description where you can find the instructions for the 6-inch finished block. But for this 12-inch finished block, you will need 3 A pieces, rectangles that measure 1.5 by 11.5 inches. You're going to need 4 B pieces, which will each be 1 inch by 4 inch. You're going to need 2 C pieces, 1.5 by 4 inches, 3 D pieces at 1 inch by 2 inch, 8 E pieces, each 1 inch by 1 inch, 8 F pieces, each 2.5 by 2.5 inch. And those will be your background pieces, and for your borders you will need 2 G pieces, each one measuring 1.5 inches by 12.5 inches. And you will need 2 H pieces, each 1 inch by 10.5 inch. And then for the actual candy hearts, what you'll need are 8 I pieces, 2 of each of your 4 colors. You'll need 4 J pieces, 1 of each of your colors. And last but not least, you will need 8 K pieces, 2 of each of your 4 colors. To get started putting our block together, the first thing that you'll want to do is draw a diagonal line on the wrong side of each K piece diagonally from corner to corner so that it looks like this. It's just a plain pencil line, and you can use any regular pencil or sewing pencil. Any of those work just fine. And what you'll want to do first is take your K piece and layer it on the bottom left corner of a D piece. And what you're going to do is stitch along that marked line that you made with your pencil, and then you're going to trim your seam allowance to a 1/4 inch, and I'll show you how to do that right now. As you can see, I've just stitched along that marked line, and in order to get that 1/4 inch seam allowance, all you have to do is take, in my case, this ruler is by Creative Grids, is you want to line up that 1/4 inch line right on that seam line that you just stitched, and then you'll trim right along this edge to get the perfect 1/4 inch seam allowance. So I'm just lining up that dotted line right on the line that I just stitched, and I'm just going to trim the extra away. And you have a perfect 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now, there are different methods that you can use to press your quilting seams. I always press mine open. That's how I was taught, so that's what I love to do. And I also feel like with more intricate blocks, kind of like this one, it just makes it lay a little nicer. So I'm going to press the seam open, and I'll show you all that next. Once you've pressed your seam, this is what your D piece should now look like on the front and the back there. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to follow those exact same steps to mark the same color, your other K piece in that same color, and you're going to layer it on the bottom right corner of that D piece. So it almost forms a little V on those stitch lines there. I'm going to do exactly the same thing, stitch along that marked line, trim my seam allowance to a 1/4 inch, and press my seams open. Now, as I'm trimming, because these pieces are a little bit smaller than some of the other blocks that I've made in the past, I like to keep my strings under control. I don't want threads everywhere when I'm trying to sew littler pieces. So I have a handy dandy thread catcher. I just toss those in over there. And of course you don't want to trim it too close to your seam, but I like to keep the strings at bay a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and press that open just like I did before. So that is perfect. So this is what my pink D piece is looking like. You're going to want to follow these exact same steps in all 4 colors. So get your other 3 D pieces that remain and your other K pieces and follow these exact same steps and make 4 of these, 1 in each color. So here are all 4 of my D pieces, all sewn and all finished. I'm not sure if anybody else has this problem. Sometimes I wonder if I'm controlling the threads or if they're controlling me. So I'm kind of thready over here, but I have all 4 of my D pieces done. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to stitch a fabric J rectangle to the bottom of each D piece, of course using the corresponding colors. So you're just going to stitch each J piece to the bottom of the D pieces that you just worked on. So I have all 4 of my J pieces sewn to the bottom of my D pieces, and the next thing you're going to want to do is take your I pieces and you're going to stitch one of each corresponding color to the left side and the right side of each of your DJ units to form your hearts. And again, you're going to do this with all of the DJ pieces that you just sewed together. So sew an I piece to the left side and the right side of each of your colors. Press your seams with whatever pressing method you prefer. Alright, so our I pieces are all sewn to our middle heart units is how they're written in the pattern, and this is what they should look like. And this is the part where they're going to start looking more heart-like. So what you're going to do now is you're going to take a marked E piece, and I've already pre-marked all of mine. You're going to layer a marked E piece on the top left corner of one of your heart units, so that it looks exactly like that. And just like before, we're just going to stitch along that marked line, trim our seam allowance to a 1/4 inch, and press. And then you're also going to do those same exact steps, taking an E piece and layering it on the top right corner of each heart unit. So you're going to repeat these exact same steps on each heart on the left corner and the right corner. And last but not least, to go ahead and make our hearts, what you're going to do is you're going to take your F pieces and you're going to mark them diagonally exactly the same way as we've done before in our pattern. So I've already pre-marked mine here, as you can see, and I'm going to layer one on the bottom left corner of one of my heart units, so that the diagonal line is going this direction. I'm going to follow the exact same steps I did before to stitch the F piece on my heart unit. And once that is finished, I'm going to do the exact same thing on the bottom right corner of each heart unit. And once you're done doing this, your hearts will be complete and it'll be time to stitch them together. So here we have our 4 completed hearts. Now you may notice a little hook action going on here on the top of your heart. That's exactly what you want because that's going to make your seam allowance for the next pieces we're getting ready to sew on. The next thing you're going to want to do is arrange your hearts the way you'll want them in the block. I think I'm going to put my solids diagonally of each other. That way they're not right next to one another. Perfect. And once you've done that, what you're going to do, I'm going to move those pieces away from there. You're going to take your B pieces and you're going to stitch a B piece to the left side of each left heart, like so. And you're going to stitch a B piece to the right side of each right heart. Now that we have our B pieces sewn on, we're going to bring in our C pieces. You're going to sew a C piece in the middle of each pair, just like this. So the way I'll do it is I'll layer the C piece on the right side of this heart unit here, stitch down that line. Then once that's sewn on, I'll go ahead and stitch my pink heart onto the right side. So you're just going to stitch a C piece in between your 2 heart pairs. Now that our heart pairs are sewn together, the only thing left to do before we go to our borders is to sew an A piece to the top of this heart pair, stitch an A piece in the middle, and stitch an A piece to the bottom. So stitch all of those together, your A piece, heart pair, A piece, heart pair, A piece, and then it'll be time to move on to our border. Here's what the first heart pair looks like once it's all sewn together with the 2 A pieces. So now I'm just going to go ahead and add my other heart pair and then my last A piece below. So we're just about through. This is what our candy heart quilt block looks like now. As you can see, it really looks like the candy with the curved bottoms and the curved tops. So I just think this is super cute. And now all that's left to do is to stitch on our border. So to do that, what you're going to do is you're going to take your H pieces and you're going to stitch an H piece to the left side and to the right side of your conversation heart block. Once you're done with that, join a G piece to the top and to the bottom of your quilt block, and you'll be all finished. And here is our finished Candy Hearts quilt block. If you would like to see more Valentine's Day quilty goodness, be sure to click this link right here above, and that will take you to where you can find all of my other quilt block pattern designs. Thank you all so much again for stopping by. If you're like me and you like free quilt block patterns and tutorials, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. I will have the link where you can find the written instructions for this pattern and all my other pattern designs listed down below. Again, if you haven't already, be sure that you subscribe and click the little bell icon so you'll be notified every time there's a new pattern or tutorial posted. Also, be sure to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I'll leave those links down below as well. And leave a comment letting me know any suggestions that you have for future pattern designs that you would like to see on this channel. And I'll see you next time. Bye!